High Rise is a novel by J.G. Ballard and has been adapted by Amy Jump and Ben Wheatley into this film. And there are elements of Ballard within Amy and Ben's screenplay, and there are new elements that are sort of very much authored by Amy and Ben.
I think this film will appeal to people because it has a mixture of really intense humour and really hopefully good performances, but also a lot of darkness and, in that very Ballardian way, a kind of social comment.
It's about social class, it's about hierarchy, it's about letting your inhibitions out. It's about finding the primal, physical animal inside you.
And the high rise is really symbolic of society breaking down and what happens when these people who are living this life and on the surface everything's perfect and they're exclusive and they're allowed to move into this building, but really they're just pretending to be who they're not, and it all, in a very extreme Ballardian way, goes completely mad.
The reason we wanted to adapt High Rise was that it read to us like it had almost come of age, you know. It was reading more and more like the pages of a newspaper than it was a novel, you know, and you could see it reflected again and again in things that were happening around us. So it felt like now was the time to kind of bring it to the screen.
It's essential to Ballard's satire that they're still obediently doing their jobs as TV producers or doctors or whatever. They're still putting on their suits and packing their briefcases every day, and it's only when they go home to enter their private lives, as it were, that they become these sort of feral cavemen.
I mean, there's an element of Ballard where, you know, although he's presenting this grim reality, this decay, this, you know, devolution into primal violence and almost kind of primitive society, it's also, you know, a notch above comedy.
It's in the 70s, beginning of the Thatcher reign. I don't know, J.G. Ballard is reflecting on society, on British society and modernism. You know, it's the beginning of, you know, we've got the brutalist architecture kicking off.
I mean, I read the script and it was sensational and clear and funny and dark and true.
And the ideas within it, I think, are still very contemporary about social engineering and how people behave if they're allowed to.
Ben is the classic guerrilla filmmaker where he wants to be there to capture the magic of the moment. He's not there to manipulate it, he's there to capture it.
I really genuinely feel like he's probably one of the most important directors we have, certainly in England and possibly the world.
The relevance for today is that there's lots of little elements that he was kind of getting right. I mean, the thing that struck me when I reread it was the way that the people in the tower would film everything on Super 8, on cine cameras, and then project it back to share it with everybody else in the building, which felt very much like social media. The other thing was that the kind of increasing need for the rich and elites in our society to separate themselves from the poor.
It'll appeal to Ballard fans, people who like the J.G. Ballard tale told in the way that he intended. And the film has got a very strong, but it's like it's a party that starts and it doesn't stop. So it's a film with a lot of energy in it, and I hope that people will enjoy that.
「高級タワーマンションハイライズへようこそ」「最高の眺望、スーパーにジム、エステまで」「ここにはあなたの望むすべてがあります」
I'm so sorry. I thought you were empty.
I just moved in.
Why don't you come up later and have a drink?
ここはユートピアなのです。ルールに従っている限りは。
You don't know how things work around here yet, do you?
There's a rigid social hierarchy here whether royal likes it or not.
We pay the same charges as the top floors. We want our fair share of the power.
You built all this.
I put all my energies into this tower.
Colonizing the sky. And who can blame him when you look at what's going on down at street level?
Things would be better if we could afford to move to a higher floor.
We should be prepared to meet moderate resistance.
They've fitted themselves so tightly into their slots.
Slots designed by you.
But it takes a certain determination to row against the current.
Lang here has been charged with disseminating propaganda amongst the lower orders.
I don't know what caused it, and I didn't do it.
What are you doing? What are you doing in there?
Teething problems. Building's still settling.
Doesn't it seem odd that a man can fall from the 39th floor and not one police car turn up?
セレブたちのマンションで一体何が起きたのか。
The ones who are the real danger are the self-contained types like you.
Perhaps you're right.
ハイライズ。皆様のご入居お待ちしています。